Wait. Now, I want to let you know that we are broadcasting internationally.
Okay. I'm not going to say. I'm just going to use appropriate words then. Okay.
All is very well with you.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to talk to you about virtual reality. And I heard you saying in one of the YouTube videos that the key to shifting your life experience to what you want is to stay more than 50% of the time in your virtual reality in airtime. Is that correct? And so...
Well, there's sort of a tipping point, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I used the virtual reality the couple of last weeks, and it's more like I found out, even talking to other people who did it, it's more about getting into the feeling place, opposite to imagining that it's not about imagining the outcome, if you don't feel it that way, but more about getting into the feeling place as if the thing that you want already happened.
Well, both work, but here's the thing. So let's say that you know what you want, and you've talked about why you want it, and you know how that would feel. But if you're like most people, when you get specific about something that is 50% out of the vortex, 50% in the vortex, when you get specific, you got to be aware of whether you're in or out when you're being specific, because you could be practicing the out of the vortex vibration without meaning to, which is what we play with these cards about. Affirming when you're not in the vortex tips it that way. Affirming when you're in the vortex tips it this way. So in the beginning, if you're tentative about whether you're in or out, the rule of thumb is the more general you are, the more likely you are to stay in the vortex. The more specific you become, the more likely you are to go out of the vortex. However, and you're really going to like this part, once you've mastered the vortex by reaching for the feeling place of it and by doing what's safe and easy for you, once you are consistently in the vortex, then the more specific you become about what you want, the more fun you have. Because now you have a thought, and the universe says, here, you have a thought. Esther thinks about an elephant, and one walks into the room. In other words, it's only more of that. It's like you begin to get the feeling that there is this benevolent universe listening to everything you say and watching for every opportunity to please you in some specific way. So the answer to our question is, be general if you're tentative, and the more secure you are in the vortex, then the more specific you get to be. And you don't need to worry about it, because if you get too specific, you'll feel the discord of it, and all you have to do is just sort of laugh and shake it off and go to a general place, and back in you go.
So are you saying is there kind of a preparation to actually the virtual reality game? Because what I experience is when I'm out of the vortex, I don't see the world how it is. It's like kind of as if I have like something in front of my eyes, because I see people not how they are, and I don't see myself how I am. So I feel like if I'm so not clear, how can I get into the, I mean, I can't think myself into
But which is happening? In other words, do you think that the not clear feeling is because of what you're observing, or do you think you're observing because of your not clear feeling? And we want to say what you're feeling is because of what you're observing. In other words, if you fixate on anything, and by fixate we just mean focus longer. If you fixate on anything that doesn't feel good to you, it doesn't take very long before you know it.
Yeah.
Because you know what it feels like to be tuned in, turned on to.
Yeah.
And so when you find yourself doing that, just laugh about it and say, later gator. Say, I know better than this. I'm just going to let that go. And when you find yourself fixated on something that is in the vortex, then just milk it. Stay there longer.
understand it. I think the specific question that I have is, okay. I don't want to look at what is no more. Because I don't want to look at what is, but I just want to like live more in that virtual reality place, in that feeling place. So how can I live there for like over 50% of the time? Because
but there's a sort of flawed reasoning that we want to clear up first, and then we'll hear your question again and answer it specifically. Most important for you to understand is that if you get into this envisioning, imagining for the sake of the feeling of it habit, I just go there because it feels good, even though most adults in my life have been trying to get me to stop doing that for as long as I can remember.
It's true.
As I'm doing this because it feels good, I'm doing it because it feels good, the reality of it will follow you. So then you won't be able to make that statement. You won't be able to say, I don't want to face reality, because you're creating reality that you do want to face.
Yeah, definitely.
It falls right on the heels of it. So if there's a reality that has your attention and it's not pleasing while you have it, then maybe the best words to say is, that's a reality worth changing. I'll work on that in time. Maybe not right now, but that's a reality worth changing, because in every reality that you don't want, there's a virtual reality that you do want every single time. That's what we've been talking about forever, that when you know what you don't want, you send these rockets. It's just not the easiest thing in the world to always immediately be a vibrational match to those rockets. That takes work, that takes practice. But the thing that we've been emphasizing all day here today, and it is exhilarating to us because we think together we've done the best job of making this point ever, is that by doing nothing that contradicts the vortex will triumph. So it isn't about taking a world or a vision that doesn't please you and twisting it into something that feels better. It's about letting go of that, because you've already put its counterpart into your vortex, which you will find sooner or later, but probably not right now while you're looking at that. And we want you to accept that step one is part of the process. In other words, right now you say, I don't want to see the reality. And we say, yeah, you kind of do. Because by seeing the reality, you build a better virtual reality, which will follow you and become a reality. So you win in any case. You just want to, and you're reflecting back to us our conversation about the 51% in the vortex, or in this vibrational reality. Now that you're aware of how you want to feel, and now you are deliberately reaching for the part of the vision that feels good to you, you've already turned that. And so now we want you to say, because you're active, you're in the real world, you're out there with a lot of people, and you're coming across things that aren't the way you want them to be, and it will always be that way for all of us. In other words, there's always going to be something that causes expansion. We want you to make peace with it in the moment, rather than say, oh, I'm doing something wrong, and just pronounce yourself in a very valuable and very normal step one moment. This is a step one moment. I'm launching rockets right now. Don't have to explain it, don't have to justify it, don't have to understand it. I'm launching rockets, and as quick as I can, I'm going to start envisioning around the rocket I've launched.
And the only way I can live the life I want to live is come to that tipping point, right?
If by live it you mean manifest it?
Yeah.
Yes. If by live it you mean feel it, you can get there immediately. We have a little bit of contradiction about what we mean by live, because we mean once you find the feeling, you're living it, because what life is that feeling of alignment. That's life, that's living. You see, manifesting, that's a whole other thing.
So just
manifesting is just evidence of vibration.
Just to clarify that,
yes,
if I'm on the right track, I can really relate to the runner who said he was in the mountains or somewhere at a beautiful beach running, and he could be in that vortex for a long state of time. So I managed like being in that virtual reality when I was running in a canyon for like 6-7 hours. That was the longest, but I feel like it's so inconsistent because the next day or the day after, if I live like somewhere where I kind of don't want to be, like at a place where I don't want to be, like school or something like that, then I have this vivid reality in front of me and like people around me, and I'm not living right now the life that I want to live. So how can I be consistent and still have this vivid and feel
what we
the way I want to feel?
What we want to say to you, and depending upon whether you're in or out of the vortex when you hear us say it, depends on whether you can really hear it.
Okay.
But we're going to give it a shot right now because we think you're in the vortex where you can hear it. The more time you spend in the vortex, then the easier it is to get there from wherever you are. In every particle of everything, there's vortex stuff. So let's say you have an encounter with something that you don't want, and you're aware that you don't want it because there's so many things you do want that are obvious to you, and this isn't one of them.
Yeah.
And so if you can relax in it and acknowledge, I can make this moment an in or out of the vortex moment. In other words, what we're really wanting to say to you, and oh, you so want to know this, we don't want you to be reliant on manifestations for whether you're in the vortex or not. We want your vortex to be unconditional. That's what unconditional love, unconditional alignment, unconditional power is. It's being able to control my relationship with my vortex no matter where I stand. But it takes a little bit of training because most people come to gatherings like this and listen to us for years because they want to learn how to line up energy so that they can manifest things that when they observe them, they'll feel better.
Yeah.
And we say, that's backwards because that's still being reliant on manifestation for knee-jerk feeling responses. And there's bondage in that. Because there are so many people out there creating so many things that you might observe that then you need everybody to be different so that you can feel better. And there is no freedom in that. But there is such freedom in the personal discovery that I can feel good because I want to, no matter where I stand. Because I have the power of perspective. I have the ability to tune in to the vibration of my source and see every moment in time through the eyes of source. Nothing has the power to detract me from who I really am. That's what you're reaching for.